All right, good evening, cyber friends. It's the Minute Man coming at you again from Walk Studio, back in Studio B. Um, we give God all the praise and honor. Give Him all the glory. Thank Him for life, health, and strength. Thank Him for whether it is His. Just come here just before I get ready to go and call in to my with my pastor in church do our Thursday night Sunday school. And I decided I would come here earlier this afternoon. I was looked at a video from back in the day. Really, this here video I guess it more likely was recorded in VHS back in 1983. And it was the 25th anniversary then of Motown. And wow, man, I tell you the truth, I was sitting here thinking, and that was back at the end of '83. I was at Andrew College. That was perhaps my sophomore year going into getting ready to I was going to graduate that next year from Andrew College. That was 37 years ago. 37 years ago. Well, actually, it's more now. But at any rate, I just was wondering. I said, we call it Motown Forever, and I was looking at the video, and I saw all of the different groups and the different stars, the singers that was Motown artists, all of them, everybody from Diana Ross, Supreme, Smokey Robinson, the Miracles, the Temptations, Four Top, the Spinners, all of them, Michael Jackson. I mean, you know, just to name a few. I mean, I don't want to forget any of them. Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder, and this was like 25 years ago. I mean, no, 37 years ago, or more than. Well, matter of fact, now it's been 37 since this 25th anniversary. So a lot of those singles are no longer with us, y'all, and you know that because we lost Michael, we lost Marvin, just to name two. If I'm not mistaken, I think one of the Supreme died. I think we still have Diana Ross with us, but not only that, most of the Temptations, the original ones, they gone. We only have Otis left, and I think Dennis Edwards. I think Dennis is still with us, but nevertheless, I was sitting here and I was just looking at that, and I was thinking, wow, like, my God, where did time go? Because like I said, that was in 1983. I was looking at the day. And it seemed, I wanted to think that was so long ago, but you know, you sit back and I look at it. It's been 37 years. 37 years. And wow. It just makes you wonder. And I was just listening at all the different acts, and they were singing, and I loved all the singing and everything. I loved every aspect of it, because Motown, Mr. Berry Gordy really done something that no other individual done in the music industry. This man had a hit factory. That's what I call it. All those stars came through there. They made hit records. I mean, two of the artists that they had was the Diana Ross Supreme, and they called them the Supremes at first, and the Temptations. They were good acts, great groups, but they didn't have no hits. But old Smokey and Barry kept working with those until they got them hits, and then it just kept going. It kept going. I mean, Temptations was one of the baddest doggone male groups that ever been. And I don't think it'll never be another male group quite like them. Matter of fact, we still have Mr. Otis Williams with us to this day. We take our hat off to Otis. I'm telling you. I mean, that era of music making, that's when I came up. In the 60s, in other words. So I was born in 61. And see, y'all, the thing about that era, I was coming up in that era of that music was brand new, and I mean it was good. It was good. I mean, to be honest with y'all, I know that I'm a musician and everything, and I'm a music man, and But it's very little music I listen to now. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's very little music I listen to on radio. I don't even hardly play a radio. I got a radio in here. I got one out there in my studio. I don't never turn that thing on. I don't listen to radio. I mean, I really don't. I do not listen to radio. I mean, to me, and that's just to me now, because I come from a different generation. The younger generation, they may love what they playing. To me, I don't get it. I'm lost in time, people. Really and truly, I'm stuck in the 80s. I'll be the first one to admit that. I'm stuck in the 80s. God knows the 80s were my decade. The 80s were my decade. But as far as music is concerned, I can go back from the 60s forward to about mid-80s or late 80s. Then I dropped off the scene. Really, I dropped off the scene after that. Because to me, it just wasn't, the music just didn't have that grit. It didn't have that drive. It didn't have that soul. It didn't have the flavor to it that music did back in the day. In other words, I'm an Earth, Wind, and Fire, the time, Mara Day and the time, the P-Funk, George Clinton. I'm the old time. I'm in that era. And believe it or not, I am stuck in the 80s. And the 80s was a decade, like I said, that was my school days, my college days. Quite naturally, I am biased. But really and truly, when I was looking at that video of Motown 25, and like I said, that was 25. That was the 25th anniversary then, and that was back in 1983. This 37 years later, y'all. That's a long time, man. That's a long time. But I do know that music was in mind. I came up during that era. I was born in 61. In fact, I don't say this here with no type of bragging or nothing like that, but I was born in 61. Barack Obama was born in 61. Barack Obama was born in August, and I was born in November. That's what that is. In other words, we all 61 babies, and all of us came up through that era. All of us did. Came up through that era. Matter of fact, I remember in 68 when King got killed, and that was a song. I think not Marvin, but it was Otis Redding. Otis Redding had made Sitting on the Dock of the Bay in 67. That's the year I started school. That's the year I entered the first grade. And in 68, that was a time, if I'm not mistaken, I think James Brown, one of them stars that came out that hit right after Martin Luther King was assassinated. Marvin Gaye came out with a song, Ain't That Peculiar. All those songs. I remember them songs during that time. In other words, during the Vietnam War, we were just hot in the Vietnam War at that time as well. Like I said, I was going on second grade at that time. Because King got killed in April of 68. I never will forget that because my mom was living in New York City at that time. But at any rate, Marvin Gaye came out, the ecology, Mercy Me. I think that's what it was. I'm not, I might have the title on jacked up, but I do remember the song about mothers, there are far too many of you crying. It was a song about the Vietnam War. Mothers was crying and sons were dying. They were dying over there. You know, we lost a lot of our boys over there in the Vietnam War, a lot of them. And Motown was in its height at that particular point in time. That was like in the late 60s, early 70s. Then Mr. Berry Gordy, he took the company on out to the West Coast in Los Angeles. And Motown declined it in Detroit. And I'm not too adept on what's going on right now in Detroit. I did hear from a buddy of mine that was born in Detroit. In fact, he's up there in Detroit at this point in time right now. He was saying that they are doing some things about trying to, so to speak, resurrect the Motown. I wish they would. I mean, I don't believe that it could ever be the Motown that it once was, but it wouldn't hurt to try to bring back real talent. I mean, to me, That was real talent. Now, I'm not saying that we ain't, the artists that are recording music today, I'm not saying that they are not talented. God knows I'm not. Because they are making money at it. So, undoubtedly, they must be. Got a dawn alert here on this phone. Maybe it'll stop in a minute. But at any rate, I'm not saying that these artists are not talented, what we have out now. But in my opinion, that just because I'm biased. Like I said, I'm stuck in the 80s, 60s and the 70s were my decade, 60s, 70s and the 80s. And after that, it sort of like went downhill to me. Now, that's just to me. But I will give the modern day artists and the bands and the musicians and group, I give them that. I give them their fair shake. God knows God bless them, and we hope that they continue to do what they're doing. But I'm just talking about in my taste, y'all. In my taste, those old groups and the old music, it just cannot be beat. But I guess everybody think about that in their decade. Every generation think the same thing about whenever they came up, whether you came up in the 50s or the 40s or the 30s, however ever you can go back, I guess that be you will feel the same way about the era in which you came up. So, you know, it's some bias in it, but at any rate, it was good music. Well, you can't deny that. And even like I said, it been 37 years since I've seen that Motown 25 broadcast. It's been 37 years, and that music still sounds good to me. I mean, it still sounds good. You just can't beat it, especially when you go there and hear some of the temps. When I hear that, I just automatically, you know, I just think about them Temptations. You can't think about nobody but them, and that's the name of a few. But all those artists that came through Motown, so very, very good, great artists, and they had some great female acts, great male acts. All of them were like one big family. Even when I saw the 25-year reunion, I did watch it back 25 when it was 25 years old. I saw it back in 1983. I was at like I said, I was at Andrew, and I remember seeing it then. And that music still sounds the same. It still sounds great. So with that being said, we just had to come back, and that's how come we put this video titled Motown Forever. And even though now it is, like I said, I turned 59 in November, and Motown been around just that long, if not longer, because if I'm not mistaken, I think Mr. Gordy started Motown in 58, and I think that was like 3 years before I was born. So Motown is going on 60-something. So, because like I said, I'll be 59 this year, and I know that it was going on throughout my life. And so we just say we want to say we take our head off to Mr. Gordy after all 60 years, and all of those artists that are yet alive, like Otis and Diana, just to name two. I'm not for certain how many more. Dennis Edwards, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's still with us. Stevie is still with us, and but the rest, a lot of them are gone. We still have Lionel Richie and some of the Commodores. Matter of fact, I think we got all of the Commodores, if I'm not mistaken. But Stevie Wonder, like I already mentioned. But I'm just saying to all of those artists, male and female, if you around, we said we take our hats off to y'all for 2 decades of great music, almost 3 decades of great music. And we just saying that we hoping that one day that the music industry presently will look at some of the archives and try to repeat some of those same formulas that y'all had back in the day when y'all went in those studios and did some authentic, pure, solid music. I'm not talking about a whole bunch of other stuff, but I'm talking about just musicians getting together doing solid music. It's kind of hard to do that these days and time, because you just barely can get anybody to get together now to do anything. Let's alone make something real great. But nevertheless, we take our hat off to Mr. Berry Gordy, as well as all the artists that he pampered and then carried and nurtured all the way through Motown, and we are hoping to see the live. I'm hoping to live to see the day again that we can really be proud of the music that we hear on the airwaves. Maybe then I'll go back and start listening to the radio. Maybe. I'm not certain, but it's worth to try to see. In other words, I want to see, maybe I need to do something myself. I thought about that too. But that'll be the case. We're going to go on and get on out of here now and get ready for Sunday school online. And so we just said, by way of the phone, we're going to say that y'all just take care of yourselves. In other words, this just a main thought. That's all it was. I'm not trying to bother you long, but this just was the main thought. To the next video, next Bible study, whichever comes first. This is Middy Man saying peace and good evening.